Many thanks for joining us on the news at this time. This is the news on Galaxy Television, broadcasting to viewers here in Nigeria, West Africa. My name is Tife Tanimomo. Our top stories. The Federal Executive Council approves the national policy on fifth-generation 5G networks for Nigeria's digital economy with immediate effect. Plus, on the news, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, reveals the seizure of a large quantity of Captagon, a deadly substance allegedly produced and sold by ISIS, who have been linked to ISWAP. And when we take you outside Nigeria, 41 prisoners die after fire swept through an overcrowded jail near Indonesia's capital, Jakarta. Those are top stories. We'll bring you details and more in just a moment. A very warm welcome to you once again. Many thanks for joining us on the news. We'll begin with the presidency as President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Fatima Waziri Azi as Director General of the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. This is sequel to a recommendation of the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Omar Farouk, who expressed the urgent need for the ministry to intensify the existing capacity in the NAPTIP in order to achieve its key result areas as identified. She added that the recommendation of Fatima Waziri Azi was based on a pedigree, vast experience and proven track record to drive the agency forward and consolidate on what has been achieved so far. A statement from the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, said the former head of Department of Public Law at the Nigerian Institute of Achieved Advanced Legal Studies, Waziri Azi, is a women's rights advocate, a campaigner against domestic and sexual-based violence, and an expert in rule of law. Still with the presidency, as the Federal Executive Council approves the national policy on fifth-generation 5G networks for Nigeria's digital economy with immediate effect. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ibrahim Bantami, said the approval came following the presentation of the implementation of the national policy to the Council. Correspondent Anabuchi Okenambuchi reports.
Briefing State House correspondent, the minister said the policy discusses the benefits to be attained through the deployment of 5G in Nigeria and in any part of the world, which includes lower latency, larger capacity, and higher data rate. According to him, these are the three major benefits of fifth generation. He said the network will open many opportunities economically, academically, educationally, in the health sector, and also support the country's security institutions, particularly in areas where they need high-quality services. He said government spent 18 months before implementing the network due to its association with the COVID-19 pandemic.
The national policy on 5G. So that policy has been approved by the Federal Executive Council today. And furthermore, the policy discusses the benefits to be attained through the deployment of 5G in Nigeria and in any part of the world, which includes like lower latency, like larger capacity, and also like higher data rate. These are the three major benefits of fifth generation. And in a simple language, we can say it will open many opportunities economically, academically, educationally, and even in health sector. And it will also support our security institutions, particularly in areas where they need high quality services.
The minister said with the approval of the national policy on fifth generation or 5G, NCC has been directed to start working immediately to come up with a regulatory instrument that will ensure its safety on health and security of Nigerians as contained in the 1999 Constitution as amended under Section 14, Subsection 2, Article B. The minister also reacted to the switch off of telecommunication networks in Zamfara State, saying decision emanated from security agencies who requested the shutdown to curtail banditry activities and not from the ministry.
Our government gives more priority and preference to the health and security of our citizens as in the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as amended under Section 14, subsection 2, Article B. So that is why a subsidiary legislation is going to be developed to ensure that 5G could only be useful in Nigeria and we cannot allow it to be harmful in any place. Finally, let us all recall that it has been deployed in the US, in the UK, in Switzerland, in Germany, and in so many European countries. It has also been developed in the Republic of Korea, in China, and it has also been deployed in Africa, like here in South Africa, in Lesotho.
The council also approved the national policy on food and nutrition as well as the consultancy for the design and construction of the second runway of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja for 500 million naira. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Shehu Garba, who stood in for the ministers of the affected ministries, said the approval meant that henceforth there will be a budget line for food and nutrition in all MDAs and in the trade tiers of government in the country. While the Minister of Power, Aliyu Abubakar, said FEC approved the award of contract for the procurement of 40 sets of 330 kV isolators for the Transmission Company of Nigeria to the tune of 64,236,000 with 7.5% VAT payable to the Central Bank of Nigeria at the prevailing exchange rate at the time of payment with delivery period of 6 months.
The Council approved a policy on food and nutrition for the country. Following the approval coming from, which is forming the basis of a national multi-sectoral plan for action for food and nutrition in all MDAs and hopefully in the 3 tiers of government in the country. Another approval is for Attorney General to proceed with the process of ratifying the promotional framework for occupational safety and health convention.
Today I presented 2 memos to Council, and I've gotten the approval for both. The first memo was to seek for approval for the award of contract for procurement of 40 sets of 330 kV isolators for the Transmission Company of Nigeria. The isolators are placed at various locations across the grid throughout the country.
Other approvals made by the Council include that which authorized the Attorney General of the Federation to proceed with the process of ratifying promotional framework for occupational safety and health convention aimed at promoting preventive health and safety as well as health care in workplaces in the country. From the Presidential Villa in Abuja, I am Nnabuchi Oken Nnabuchi reporting for Galaxy Television News.
Now, to party politics, governors under the People's Democratic Party arrived at the venue of their emergency meeting scheduled for Thursday. The meeting is to enable the governors forge a common front and reach a compromise ahead of the September 9 National Executive Council NEC meeting on the People's Democratic Party (PDP). The governors are also built to discuss to contribute to the planned assigning of offices to the National Working Committee (NWC). The last NEC meeting of the party had mandated the September 9 gathering to discuss the setting up of the National Convention Committee as well as states and zones that will get what positions in the new NWC. The last NEC meeting also received a recommendation on the microzoning of the leadership positions, though the NEC, the National Caucus of the party, and the Board of Trustees (BOT) were silent on the zoning of the presidential ticket of the party. They insisted, as the Governor Bala Mohammed Committee had suggested, that the matter be thrown open. And now to drug-related matters, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has revealed the seizure of a large quantity of Captagon, a deadly substance allegedly produced and sold by ISIS, who have been linked to ISWAP. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Chairman, Brigadier General Mohammed Boba Marwa, retired, reveals that the agency received an intel from the international partners on the shipment of the illicit narcotics from the Middle East through the Apapa port. Galaxy's Kelly Egiga reports that the NDLEA chairman, while disclosing that the tablets of the drug weighing 3.2 kilograms was found deeply concealed in one of the coils inside marble polishing machines. He adds that the street value is about $11.3 million, which is almost 6 billion naira at $25 per tablet. He also speaks on the dangers of the substance.
The purpose of the briefing today is to update you all on a very, very important seizure of one of the most dangerous, obnoxious, one of the worst pills, stimulant pills, called Captagon. This is the same class of pills that was administered to German forces in the outbreak of World War II in the second half of 1939, when they invaded Poland and subsequently the Low Countries of Europe and ultimately France in May 1940.
Speaking further, the NDLEA chairman says the destination for the seized drug is the camps of insurgents and bandits across the country. He also reiterates the zero tolerance of the agency for abuse of illicit drugs.
So when you connect the dots and the relationships of the ISIS and ISWAP in Nigeria, it is obvious that the destination for these chemically enhancing pills are the insurgents, the Boko Haram insurgents, and those ISWAP that are operating in the fringes of Nigeria all the way to the northwest. And you can imagine the havoc that this would cause had this passed through to the recipients in Nigeria.
This is Galaxy Television News. We're due for a break now, but in the part 2 of the news after the break, the Nigeria Police Force parades killers of the 93-year-old Pa Defwan Darie, the father of the former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Darie. We'll bring you details of that story and more in just a moment. Stay with us, please. You're welcome back. You're watching the news on Galaxy Television. Now, for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Galaxy TV Nigeria. We are live on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Galaxy TV. You can follow and interact with us on our platform. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Official Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly. You can always accommodate your live updates and comment. And now to security stories. The Nigerian Police Force paraded killers of the 93-year-old Pa Defwan Darie, the father of the former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Darie, after demanding the the sum of 10 million naira ransom from the victim's family. Also paraded were some suspected armed robbers, kidnappers, and illegal sellers of unlawful firearms who were said to have been positively linked through to the investigations by the Force Intelligence Bureau.
Today we have a total of 13 suspects. 8 of these suspects are being held for offenses of kidnapping and murder. 2 are being held for cyber kidnapping, while 3 other suspects are being held for illicit possession of weapons and unlawful trade in these weapons.
One of the kidnappers, Jethro Ngusen, who was the mastermind of the crime, said he had to hire 8 others, including some Fulani headers, to successfully abduct the 93-year-old man for 8 days. Commissioner Mba also paraded another 3-man gang led by one Ayuba Joel, who was arrested on 28 August 2021 at Angawa Kabawa, a border town between Nasarawa and Taraba states, for selling of unlawful weapons to bandits, kidnappers, and armed robbers. Another group led by Sadiq Abubakar was arrested in July 22, 2021 for cyber kidnapping, was also paraded by the force. All suspects attested to the allegations against them, as items recovered from the groups include 26 AK-47 magazines, 1 rifle, 14 live ammunition, among others.
I was the one, I was trying to say some things, and if you give assignment and the children are going and mess up or they do something, all the blame will go to the person who give the job. I was trying to deny, do something. I ask all of you to forgive me. So I give the job to these children and they went and mess up. My mission was not for them to kill him after collecting ransom. Actually, it is not in my mind.
Okay, he gave us his name and that he's 30 years old. He confessed that these ammunitions were recovered from him. He said he's a Juku by tribe, he's into fishing and farming, but that they live in the forest with some Fulani bandits.
I have been online kidnapping, and that is, I do, sometimes they do send friend requests, sometimes I do send them friend requests, become friends, and I invite them, and from there I capture them, and I ask for ransom. So that is what I do.
And now to ban on open grazing. Analysts have reacted to the proposed banning of open grazing in the Katsina state by the governor, Aminu Masari. Masari had hinted that his administration is considering banning open grazing in the state. Masari, who spoke during an interview on a TV program Monday, faulted the movement of herders from one part of the country to another. He explains that before the state would create a law banning the open grazing of livestock, the government would make provisions to house the animals. Femi Emmanuel, while speaking with Galaxy's Solomon Ofem, opined that some of the northern governors are beginning to realize the difference between politics and reality.
Nigeria, we love to look at things from 2 lenses, region and religion, and that has been our problem. So, irrespective of how hard the solution or how simple the solution to our problem is, we have people that will look at it from those 2 lenses. And once we look at it from those 2 lenses, it affects the political will to actually take a step. But I'm happy that the Katsina State governor has looked at it not from those 2 lenses we mentioned earlier, and this is high time they begin. In fact, he said more statements like, in fact, those killer herdsmen are actually from his tribe. He mentioned tribe and was very categorical in his statement. Going forward, Nigerians, politicians should not look at things from those 2 points of view, ethnic religion or region, we should look at our problems and solve them. Now, when we identify our problems, it should help us prune down and embrace reality, not like embracing a thief because he's from our region and castigating a supposedly saint because he's from another region.
Masari's comments come 4 months after the Southern Governors Forum announced a ban on open grazing of the cattle across states and the region. The governors instructed states in the region to enact anti-open grazing laws in their domain to curb incessant clashes between herders and farmers. And now in Benue State, Governor Samuel Ortom has assured the entire people of the state that his government remains committed to their cause and aspirations despite the seeming pressures and threat from a group of persons. He said this when a group of concerned citizens and mothers, youth staged a peaceful rally to express their solidarity and backing to the governor. The Benue concerned mothers, youth and Okada riders who marched through major streets of Makurdi metropolis to support Governor Samuel Ortom on the anti-open grazing said this is the best solution to the crisis between herders and farmers, while denouncing Senator George Akume, the Minister of Special Duties, last media outing described as treacherous.
We are here collectively to stand a solidarity march to support His Excellency Governor Samuel Ortom. We consider anti-open grazing law as one of the primary aim and benefits in the state.
The message of we the mothers today, as you can see, Benue is a home of peace. Benue is a home of hospitality. We are farmers in Benue, food basket of the nation. We don't have money, but we have food.
You elected me in 2015 and in 2019 against all odds. You elected me, so I remain committed to you.
Meanwhile, Ortom says he remains grateful for their support, assuring that they will overcome since they are seeking for justice, equity, and fairness. Meanwhile, Benue State government calls on the federal government and other relevant security agencies in the country to arrest Miyetti Allah Kautal Orr, whose recent statement portends great danger for Nigeria's fragile security situation. The State Information Commissioner, Dr. Nguna Adingi, maintains that the Benue State government views the open confrontation by leaders of Miyetti Allah Kautal Orr as subtle endorsement by the federal government.
By the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, states are empowered through their local government, through their houses of assembly to make laws for the good governance of the people. And this is exactly what we did with the ban on open grazing. It is also to stop the incessant conflicts between farmers and the pastorates. In fact, the law is a win-win for both farmers and herders.
Now let's cross over to the southeastern part of Nigeria, where the Imo State government on Thursday said millions of Imo residents are gladly awaiting the planned visit of President Muhammadu Buhari come Thursday, the 9th of September 2021. This was disclosed by the Commissioner for Information, Declan Melumba, who briefed members of the 4th Estate of the REM on the purpose of the visit. Correspondent Ajibade Awofesa was there and filed in this report.
Though activities are in top gear to receive the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, into the state by the Imo State government and lovers of the Governor Hope Uzodinma's administration. But one fact that cannot be ruled out is the apprehension being expressed by some other residents who feel the President's visit is nothing to rejoice about, given the fact that the Buhari's administration has not really favored them in the Southeast zone. Some of the residents, while expressing their opinions, appraised the Uzodinma-led administration for giving the state an infrastructural facelift.
The state is very commendable. I can see this is, I think, after the first regime of Sam Onona Kambakwe, this is the next time we are having quality infrastructure in the state. The roads are well constructed and the roads are very commendable.
If you look at the road he has already built at warehouse and the fire service, you can really appreciate him. Are you getting me? Because the thing has really eased traffic. The traffic congestion we usually have on those areas have now eased up. And here now, our government has learned about. He's doing something similar.
It should not be what is happening in the state, but what is President Buhari bringing to the table? What is he coming to do for Imo State and for the Southeast? It's not a matter of coming to visit here. I don't want to talk about the happenings in the state. I just want to focus on what is President Buhari bringing. Okay. Because let me be very honest with you. This is 2 years of this regime and it hasn't paid the Southeast.
In his briefing, the Commissioner for Information, Honorable Declan Emelumba, said the purpose of the president's visit is to commission some laudable projects by the Governor Hope Uzodimma's administration. He, however, said security in the state is watertight and any group or individual who dares to undermine the security architecture will be severely dealt with. Recall that the IPOB had earlier declared a sit at home on Thursday following the news that the president will be visiting the state on the said date.
The entire Imo people are enthusiastically waiting for Mr. President. Enthusiastically waiting for Mr. President. And even the markets, the leadership of the markets in Imo, the union, have voluntarily offered to close the markets tomorrow in honor of Mr. President. So this will show you the extent the Imo people are enthusiastic to welcome Mr. President. Because these are market traders on their own voluntarily. They have agreed to close the markets tomorrow to welcome Mr. President as a mark of respect. So you can see that Imo people, all from all strata of life, they are very, very eager to see this Mr. President because they love this Mr. President and they know what he has been doing for Imo people and they want to see him, they want to behold him and show him how much they cherish what he has been doing for Imo people so that he can do more.
As at the time of filing this report, Owerri, the state capital, is relatively calm. Activities towards the warm reception of President Muhammadu Buhari ongoing unabated. From Imo State, Ajibade Abuofeso, Galaxy TV News.
And now to other matters. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, generated over 1 trillion naira in the first 6 months of the year 2021 through its modern technology, Tax Pro Max. Tax Pro Max is an in-house technology designed for tax payments across the country. Group Lead Digital and Innovation Support of the service, Chika Ben Obi, made the disclosure while addressing newsmen in Abuja Wednesday. Ben Obi stated that the technology is in affiliation with the Corporate Affairs Commission to generate registration numbers for taxpayers across the country. She urged all taxpayers to go online for registration so as to avoid delay in paying their taxes.
So what we have done now with Tax Pro Max is that we are managing the life cycle of a taxpayer using technology. From the time a taxpayer registers up until the time, because the ultimate is the taxpayer getting their tax clearance certificate. Now recall that in the past, when a taxpayer is registering as a taxpayer in order to be issued their tax identification number, you typically will bring your CAC registered documents, your CO7 listing your directors and all that, but we don't have to do all that now.
Officer in charge of tax operations, Matthew Bunjugbola, who spoke on the tax face-off between the service and the government of Rivers State, said FIRS has approached the affiliate court about the VAT judgment passed by the Federal High Court in Rivers State, noting that the commission will remain silent until the court starts its ruling.
VAT tax is administered on behalf of the 3 tiers of government we have in Nigeria. The 774 local governments, the 36 states, and the Federal Capital Territory, and the federal government. The revenue arising from VAT is shared among the 3 tiers of governments based on the extant provisions.
A coalition of civil society organizations tasked the federal government to ensure domestication of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition (VAP) Act 2015, as well as women and girls' rights legislation in states across the country. Programs Director Yaga Africa Cynthia Mbamalu lamented the rising cases of violence across the country against women in society, especially cases of rape and murder of female gender, advocating stiffer sanctions against offenders.
Go back and also engage his stakeholders and partners, and if they finally review the law, that he would commit to support the passage of that bill. Now we need the Senate President, beyond just mere statements, to actually show it in his action as the National Assembly resumes 14th of September 2021. Now, one of the considerations for the Senate would be the Gender and Equal Opportunities Bill.
Major opposition political parties in the country have lambasted the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) for allegedly politicizing anti-graft war and intimidating politicians within and outside the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC). Reacting to the recent face-off between the Kogi State government and the EFCC over an alleged 20 billion Kogi State salary bailout account, purportedly frozen by the courts, the parties accused the EFCC of chasing an agenda and being used by some APC henchmen to label politicians as corrupt through unverified cases. Beg your pardon. Addressing newsmen on Wednesday in Ikolaokwa, Anambra State, on behalf of the allied political parties for good governance and building Nigerian legacy, RAPS Oke Nwosu, the national chairman of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), conversed the urgent need for President Buhari to call the leadership of the anti-graft agency to order, stressing that the agency had become a tool of oppression.
It is worrisome how the EFCC is being used, rightly or wrongly, to intimidate politicians within and outside the ruling party by the henchmen of APC, who are said to have President Buhari's ears. It projects EFCC under the current administration as a tool of oppression and not an agency that was set up to sanitize Nigeria and make it corrupt-free.
Nwosu argued that the EFCC had wanted to rob the Kogi State government, but for the prompt opening and explanation of the state government.
This APC by force syndrome cannot stand in Anambra State. And all the shenanigans will come to nothing. The people of Anambra will resist all APC or EFCC bullying and vote to produce their own government.
And now, away from party politics, International Literacy Day is celebrated annually on 8th of September. It is an opportunity for government, civil societies, as well as stakeholders to highlight challenges associated with literacy. This year's theme is Literacy for a Human-Centered Recovery, Narrowing the Digital Divide. Galaxy's Valerie Chioma explores the challenges associated with adequate literacy in Nigeria.
Literacy traditionally used to mean the ability to read and write. But over the years, the definition has evolved into meaning something much more deeper, such as adequate knowledge and competence. In Nigeria, there are numerous challenges associated with adequate literacy. The Nigeria's Ministry of Education says over 10 million Nigerian children are out of school and do not have access to books. According to UNESCO, around the world, 750 million adults still cannot read or write, and many of them are young people. The rapidly changing labor markets require skills that can be developed throughout life.
Tech education is very, very important in today's economy. So it affords our children, our learners, opportunities to have a hands-on, to have skill they can use. Either as entrepreneur, either as a way of getting employment, or even to even further their education. So,
in an increasingly digitalized and globalized world, literacy is more vital to navigate through life and work like never before. When there are so many out-of-school children, it increases crime and insecurity in the country.
they will not be able to flow with the society. This set of people will end up being miscreants. This set of people will end up being criminals. So it is a big setback to the development of any society where you have this number of people that are not literate. So the implication is far wide. And so the earlier the figure is reduced or completely eliminated, the better for the society.
Education has one of the lowest budgets in Nigeria. How do you expect that system to grow? Teachers are old, children are kidnapped. So make the government more conducive for the one that we're even already running. So the security situation in the country has not helped education. You can see children in schools, young people being kidnapped. So they are not even encouraged by the government to actually go to school. So there's an indirect discouragement.
Access to books and education would bridge the gap and enable individuals to improve their lives and livelihoods. There are challenges that exist with proper education in Nigeria, and the government has been admonished to do something about it.
Well, for me, it's a window to the world. It's an avenue for having critical and also creative thinking. Now, when you read, you get a lot from other people's experiences. You get to know things beyond your immediate environment, beyond your world. One needs to give incentives. And generally, I believe if there is improvement in the economy of Nigeria, education is going to be the next thing for most people. No brainer. You're welcome.
The International Literacy Day aims to remind people that literacy is a weapon that provides empowerment and independent thinking to individuals. Valerie Chioma, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
And now to Rivers State. Pensioners in that state on Wednesday protested over the non-payment of their gratuities and 10 years pension arrears. The retirees who were seen in front of the State Secretariat and Government House in Port Harcourt were singing solidarity songs with placards of different descriptions exclaiming the hardship they have faced since 2012 till date. They stressed that over 300 pensioners have lost their lives as a result of government non-compliance with the side of the tri-party agreement reached. The state government representative was yet to address the pensioners as at the time of filing this report.
Since I retired 2017 up to date, I've been facing series of challenges. No payment of gratuity, no payment of arrears. My children are now at home, out of the house.
Some of us, since 2015, 2016, 17 till date, they've not paid their pension arrears. They've not paid their gratuity. Most of us have died, and most of us don't even have rights to stay.
Just look at me. I went for brain scan. I've been sick. I was taken away from my house for almost 1 year. I went for brain scan of 250,000. There was nothing to show for it, no money. My husband has sold all that he had. My children were in the school. Nothing, no house.
Nobody sponsored us. He set up a tripartite committee. They have finished work. Till now, we have not had anything from him. They've submitted the report to him. More than 3 months. So what did we do? Is it a crime to serve the state for 35 years of your life?
I've listened to all they told me, and I want to assure you that I will take it up from this place. Because very soon I will retire. If I can't take care of you, they will not take care of me. So I'll make sure I carry your grievances, all you have articulated, and pass it on to the governor to look into your plight.
We're due for a break now, but when we return, the 12 associates of pro-Yoruba agitator Sunday Igboho institute a rights enforcement suit against the Department of State Services, DSS, for being paraded on the media as common criminals. We'll bring you details shortly. Stay with us.
For me,
Welcome back. This is news on Galaxy Television. And the 12 associates of pro-Yoruba agitator Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Igbo, have instituted a right enforcement suit against the Department of State Services, the SS, for being paraded on the media as common criminals. We'll bring you details and updates on that particular story and our subsequent news packages. Now, up next, the stories from the international scene.
Welcome to news from the international scene. 41 prisoners have died after a fire swept through an overcrowded jail near Indonesia's capital, Jakarta. The blaze of Tangerang prison broke out on Wednesday as most of the inmates slept. Guards unlocked some cells but had to leave as the fire raged. There were 122 inmates staying in the worst affected Block C, far more than 40% capacity. 2 foreign victim inmates from Portugal and South Africa are among the dead. Indonesia's Minister of Law and Human Rights, Yasona Lawli, said in a press conference that the embassies of the respective countries have been informed. 8 people were seriously injured and dozens more had minor injuries, he said. Television footage showed thick smoke billowing from the prison complex as the fire raged. It started at about 1:45 a.m. local time and was put just over an hour later. Mr. Yasona told a press conference the fire spread quickly and there was no time to open some cells. When the guards found out, the fire had already spread, and that's where they found the victims. It said that an electrical short circuit was thought to have caused the blaze. Although this was still being investigated, the jail was built in 1972 and its electrical system had not been updated since then, he said. The block mainly housed inmates held for drug-related offences. Of the victims, one was reported to be a murder convict, another had been found guilty of terrorism, and the rest were in prison for crimes involving drugs. Only 15 guards were on duty for the entire building, which housed 2,000 inmates, a far higher number than its intended 600% capacity. Prison overcapacity is a persistent problem in Indonesian jails. Russia's emergencies minister Yevgeny Zinishev has died in an accident during a big Arctic civil defense exercise. The ministry said Zinishev, 55, had died in Norilsk while trying to save someone's life. A cameraman had fallen off a cliff during an interview, according to Margarita Simonyan, the head of Russia's broadcaster. She said he and the cameraman were on the edge of a cliff. The cameraman slipped and fell into the water. Zinishev rushed after the fallen man and died after eating a protruding rock. The cameraman, later named as film director Alexander Melinik, 63, also died. Zinishev had been emergencies minister since 2018 and for years was reportedly a key member of President Vladimir Putin's security detail. For most of his career, he worked in state security, beginning with the Soviet KGB and eventually rising to number 2 in Russia's Federal Security Service in 2016. A Kremlin statement said Mr. Putin had shared many years working with Zenyshev, and spokesman Dmitry Peskov said it was a great loss. Melnyk was a director and screenwriter and was known for his 2015 Arctic adventure movie, Territory. He was planning a documentary on the development of the Arctic and Russia's Northern Sea route. Russian media said they had been filming a training video in the Krasnoyarsk region for the ministry at the time of the accident. Still with Europe, in Paris, a historical trial started in France over the 2015 Paris attack, which left 130 people dead. The shooting and bombing assault by Islamic State group extremists was the worst post-World War II atrocity in France. The only surviving attacker, Salah Abdeslam, is in court with 13 other defendants at a purpose-built facility in Paris. The trial is being described as the biggest in France's modern history. Over the next 9 months, there will be over 140 days of hearing involving about 330 lawyers and 1,800 survivors and relatives of victims. About 300 witnesses will be heard, including François Hollande, the French president at the time of the attack. Ahead of the trial, Mr. Hollande told French media that this was an important moment for the victims of the attack, which he described as an act of war at the time. Islamic State admitted carrying out the attack on the Bataclan Concert Hall, a major stadium, restaurant and bars, on 13th November 2015. The suspects arrived at court in police vehicles under heavy security on Wednesday morning. They were seated together in the defendant's box wearing face masks before the trial opened. Of the 20 suspects on trial, 6 are being tried in absentia. They are facing charges of murder, complicity, and terrorist conspiracy. Most of the accused, including Abdeslam, could be sentenced to life in jail if convicted. Lastly, on the international scene, moving to South America, Brazil's far-right president Jair Bolsonaro struck a deviant note on the country's Independence Day on Tuesday. He told tens of thousands of his supporters who had gathered in the city of Sao Paulo that only God could remove him from power. He also launched fresh attacks on Congress and Supreme Court institutions he says are persecuting him and his political allies. The court recently approved several investigations into Mr. Bolsonaro. Mr. Bolsonaro has always been fond of giving impassioned speeches in which he not only lambasts his critics and calls them names, but also portrays himself as a victim of concerted attacks by his rivals. But mounting pressure from several investigations and call for his impeachment have led to the president's rhetoric becoming even more belligerent. The rallies he convened for Independence Day were seen as an attempt to demonstrate he can still draw a huge crowd of supporters after a recent poll had him trailing his left-wing rival Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva by 9 percentage points. While elections are not due to be held until October 22, Mr. Bolsonaro's approval rating have also dropped to an all-time low. A poll by the Atlas Institute suggested that 61% of Brazilians described his government's performance as bad or very bad, up from 23% when it first took office in January 2019. While an attempt to impeach the president over his handling of the COVID crisis was blocked by the Speaker of the lower house of Congress, Mr. Bolsonaro is portraying himself as under attack from Congress and the Supreme Court. And that's it from news from the international scene.
Up next is entertainment news.
Welcome to entertainment news. A federal high court in Lagos on Tuesday, September 7, declared that a former Miss Nigeria, Helen Priest Ajayi, is entitled to 50% of the net asset of her late husband, Dr. Tosin Ajayi. Recall that earlier this year, there was a mild drama during the funeral of Dr. Tosin Ajayi, the founder of First Foundation Hospital, as his older children from his first wife struggled with Helen Praise Ajayi for the shovel at the graveside over who gets to pour sand into the grave first. Helen Praise Ajayi later apologized to her late husband for the incident and explained how she had been accused of his murder following his death. She also debunked reports that she was the reason for him leaving his first wife. Months after the burial, Justice Tijani Ragim ruled that Helen Praise Ajayi is entitled to half of the net asset of her late husband, Dr. Tosin Ajayi. According to the application, Dr. Ajayi was a renowned medical doctor, businessman, and philanthropist before his demise on April 26, 2020. Also, Kylie Jenner and her husband Travis Scott are expecting their second child. Speculations that Kylie is pregnant reached new heights on her birthday when she and her friends did not post any photo from the party except photos of their foods and drinks. Kylie and Travis already have 3-year-old daughter Stormy, and she seems excited about having a little sibling. Anyways, update is that she has released a video of her baby bump. Congratulations, Kylie. In another news, Nollywood actress Tonto Dike has reacted to a leaked audio recording of her allegedly begging her ex-boyfriend Prince, asking not to leave her after he accused her of cheating. Recall that Dike's ex-lover Prince had revealed that the actress cheated on him right from the start of their relationship. He alleged the relationship, which lasted for 3 months, was a living hell, and he is being used as the victim of blackmail. Prince also accused Tonto Dike of sleeping with someone else in Lagos, adding that she begged for a second chance when she was caught. However, a few days after he made the revelation, a leaked audio of Tonto crying and begging him not to leave her surfaced online. Tonto Dike reacted as ex-lover Prince accused her of cheating, but Ms. Dike assured that every blackmailer will be brought to justice and that the law will take its course. Popular Nollywood actress Omoni Oboli recently started a conversation on social media where she asked her fans to share something they could not stand, even when others seemed to condone it. To start things off, the movie star made hers known, and according to Omoni Oboli, she does not like witchcraft. Explaining further, she added that the highest form of witchcraft was rejoicing at the misfortune of others. And finally, on entertainment news, a National Film and Video Censors Board, NFVCB, has announced a ban on movies with stories that glamorize villains. The board CEO, Adedayo Thomas, confirmed the latest rule in a statement. The Nigerian films and movies should depict reality but also give out moral lessons at the end. Adebayo Thomas disclosed that in line with the Buhari-led administration move to monitor hate speech online, the board is also looking into movie content released on platforms like YouTube and Google. The board will also monitor script development. The NFVCB boss also announced a note of warning to filmmakers who bypass the board to still release films with unapproved content. According to Thomas, the government seeks to ensure that filmmakers are making morally upright films with the goal of protecting Nigerian children from societal ills. And that'll be all on entertainment news.
Now, for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at official Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share a story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly. You can always accommodate your live updates and comment. Thank you for watching the news on Galaxy Television. My name is Tife Tanemomo. Bye for now.